All right, welcome back to Season 2, Episode 3 of the Purpose Pro Podcast. We're having a lot of fun before we even get this thing started here. All right, so if you love learning simple and effective ways to lead yourself and others well, this podcast is for you. Our mission is to help you connect to your unique design and purpose. And in this episode, we've got business coach and author Kenny Camp in the house.
Good to be here, guys.
Yeah, we throw a lot of titles on you, Kenny. Oh man, there's probably jack of all trades.
I had a lot of nicknames, that's for sure.
Yeah.
What was your favorite?
I don't have
You're not gonna share that? Not on this one.
What is your least favorite?
The wife is listening.
Yeah, we're not going.
Still got a kid at home. He doesn't want to know that.
We'll save that for that.
Yeah, give us the real quick. We're gonna dive into this with some rapid fire, but when I say business coach, that could describe a lot of different things.
Sure.
But what do you do?
You bet. Well, just real quick, I'm a certified Business Made Simple coach. So if you're familiar with Donald Miller and Story Brand, that's the framework or operating system that I'm certified in. And my niche is I help small businesses, so like 2 to 50 employees, and nonprofits are my passion. And so I help that size of business or organization succeed in their mission. Because a lot of times, you go and start a nonprofit and you have a passion for something, but you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Same way with a small business. You have a great idea or you're good at something, but you don't know how to build a business. So I help them build their business.
Well, full disclosure, Kenny's done a lot of work for Catalyst and has taken us to a whole new level. We couldn't have got here without you. So I won't blame this, the setup and the weird things that are on the shelf behind me on you, nor the Stormtrooper.
Yeah,
I don't know why that's here, but
I like it.
We got a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah. My 10-year-old's a big Star Wars fan. So.
Okay.
There we go. You're like a 10-year-old. All right. Hey, speaking of Star Wars, let's dive in.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, we do know.
We won't linger on it too long. And we'll jump into the rapid fire round. I have a series of questions that I'm just going to pop off. You give me very short answers.
Sure.
All right. What is your favorite movie all time?
Oh, boy. Well, as soon as you said what you just said, I'm like going, you know what? That's the movie. It's Hook.
Okay.
Hook.
I like the whole idea of, you don't have to grow up. In some ways, maybe you do, but I was going to say the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but that's pretty deep.
Yeah.
But really, I've watched Hook probably 20 times.
See, look, I know so much more about you because you love Hook. I love Hook. Yeah. I feel like we just became best friends. All right. Who do you look to as a guide or a mentor, and why?
I wish I had one person, but I really don't. It's like different, and they're not personal friends of mine. It's just different people that I'll listen to their podcasts or read their books, and it's in different areas, And so, like I said, I go, Donald Miller as far as in the coaching. Pat Flynn's another one, as you guys know, that I look to as a guide as far as like how to develop business, entrepreneurial type stuff. Of course, in the spiritual realm, I have different guys that I turn to and listen to. But so
awesome, so good. All right, so let's go back in the past and let's think about 8th grade Kenny Camp.
Yep.
Think of those nicknames. Think of where you are. What is 8th grade Kenny Camp like? And then I'm going to ask you, what's a piece of advice that you give 8th grade Kenny Camp?
So what was the first part of that question?
What was 8th grade Kenny Camp like?
What was he like? Well, we were just talking with Ben, and he was saying like he was 110 pounds playing fullback. Well, I was the little guy, and in my mind, I'm still the little guy. And so, we were talking about playing basketball, and my wife would make fun of me when she'd go and watch me play basketball. She's like, dude, why are you like pushing those guys around? I said, well, because I feel like I have to, because in my mind, I'm still the 8th grade Kenny Camp, where, let's see, I was probably 5 foot tall and may have broke 100 pounds, so.
There's some interesting psychoanalysis we can do there.
Right?
Is that why at HEB you push that old lady out of line? Like, I was wondering why you were doing that.
He's making that up.
He's boxing her out of the cashier.
Why are you boxing this 80-year-old lady out of the line at the grocery store?
Now, you're totally making that up. So I was. You guys know I'm an introvert, just like you guys. But I was quiet, but I had a great sense of humor, dry sense of humor. And so if I could be funny, I was okay. But I was small. I was people didn't know. They didn't think I was in 8th grade. They probably thought I was more like 5th grade. So,
What advice would you give 8th grade Kenny Can?
I would say, don't be afraid to try and fail.
Cool. And then, what's the most important skill a leader today should strive for?
All right. So when you say most important, so I'm not a black and white kind of person. So for me to have a most important, it's not. I'd say an important skill I think for a leader is well, I'll just say most important. They need to know where they're leading. They need to know where they're going, because you can't lead if you don't know. You can call it vision, you can call it clarity, whatever. But if you as the leader don't know, then really can you lead?
Yeah.
So.
Cool. You ready to do it?
All right, let's dive in. So what we have done prior to this episode, we asked you, well, you've already did this, so we had it on file for you. You created or completed a survey, our Purpose Project Inventory,
Right.
where we're dissecting parts of your unique design. Now, I'm going to go through, and I looked at it with fresh eyes, just looking at all the moving parts,
Okay.
and I came up with some themes. So I'm going to share the themes that I found in your unique design real quick and put that together in a core strength statement, and I'm looking to check in with you. So if I say anything that you're like, how'd you get there? Let's talk about it. Okay? All right. Here we go. Theme number 1, creating solutions. So the word create itself showed up in just about every single aspect of your unique design profile. And it was creating different things. It could be anything from cooking to, interestingly enough, creating or casting vision to solutions to problem solving, you name it. I think even when I look at something like teaching as one of your spiritual gifts, I thought, that takes a lot of creating solutions over and over again to have that pop up as an occurrence. So I'm taking a lot of these and kind of summarizing them and say there's a lot of puzzle pieces that connect here, creating solutions as a theme. Thoughts?
Yeah, I see that.
Okay.
You want,
No, you can give me a just thumbs up, thumbs down, yes,
Okay.
no, grunt, I don't care. Okay, number 2. Guiding others.
Okay.
Guiding others. Now, guiding others, it's a vaguer term, but it's on purpose because again, the idea of teaching shows up in a lot of different ways. But so does leading. So does things like team building, connection, community, a lot of different areas there where I'm like, it's if I put it into a general term, here's somebody over and over again that seems to be creating solutions and guiding people or wired to guide others. You relate to those terms? You feel like you see those themes within you?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Okay. Here we go. Number 3. And this is kind of a universe that they're all kind of relating, but they're each a little bit different. Bringing ideas and people together. Now, I could have said casting vision, but again, the idea of community, connection, bringing stuff together, whether that was a vision, an idea, or people, seems to be overarching in a lot of these areas. So that's why I expressed this theme in bringing ideas and people together. Do you feel like that's something you own and embody as who you are?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Number 4, strong ethics.
Okay.
Now, when I say that, there is not a person on the planet who is perfectly ethical, but
Right.
it's more about the integrity behind what you try to do for yourself, for others, for people around you. It's a little bit of you got the INFJ personality type, which is a little bit altruistic. So I'm looking at that saying, okay, here's someone who seems to want to follow through and do what they say they're going to do, right? The integrity came up in your values, but so did respect as well. And so typically, like people who like to receive respect, give respect, and that's part of one of their, I think it's part of what drives their ethics. Also, the idea of being principled comes up in the INFJ personality type, which you identified with. So, strong ethics. Do you feel like in situations
Mm-hmm.
that you've been in throughout your career, your ethics may have been, that might have been a guiding source for you, like making decisions based on that.
Yeah, that was a good way to couch it. I would say in that setting for sure, a driving force in the way that I would handle myself.
Mm-hmm.
I would also say it's more of aspirational
Mm-hmm.
than actuality in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, that's good. Okay, number 5, lifelong student.
mm-hmm.
The idea of a learner came up in several ways. You describe yourself as a learner,
Mm-hmm.
part of the motivator as well, but also just the way you study and think through things. Like you're always consuming and quick to learn. I see that here in your design. Is that
Mhm.
something you would say, lifelong learner?
Definitely.
Okay. All right. We're gonna smush all that together like a
Okay.
bunch of Play-Doh.
All right.
And here's the sentence I'm gonna come up with, and it's a way. Picture me describing you in front of an audience. It doesn't have to be perfect. What I'm looking for. Do you feel like this is 80% accurate?
Okay.
Description of who you are. So everybody, I want to introduce you to Kenneth A. Camp, Mr. Kenny Camp. Kenny's an avid learner whose integrity and ability to create pathways for others is catalytic to the people and causes he serves.
Sounds like a pretty cool dude.
You like this guy, huh? You'd hang out with him a little?
Well, I try to.
All right, so I'm gonna read that again. So here it is, and then this is me smushing these themes together. An avid learner whose integrity and ability to create pathways for others is catalytic to the people and causes he serves. So based on that, what we're looking for is how do you lean into your unique design?
That's good. One way I see you lean in, and this is the ongoing learning. Clubhouse the other day,
Mm-hmm.
it was like Kenneth Camp joined. I'm like, how does Kenny know about Clubhouse? A couple months ago, like,
Right.
do you know what Clubhouse is?
Yeah,
does now.
I do.
Okay.
I'm not on it,
You
but
let
I mean,
him.
like,
Nice.
I actually am on it.
Okay, let's dig into this a little bit and see how this practically applies. So, thinking about your business, how have you leveraged your unique design to lead both yourself and others well?
Well, I mean, the whole learner thing I think is key, in that I don't ever approach something thinking that I know everything I need to know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as far as leading myself, the whole Clubhouse thing, I mentioned Pat Flynn earlier. That's who I heard it from. And so I intentionally put myself in situations to where I'm learning from others. It doesn't mean that they're smarter than me, right? They may or may not be, but they know something I don't know about something. And so the whole Clubhouse thing, he's like, hey, you might want to check this out. He wasn't talking to me specifically, but a group of us, And so I'm constantly like, okay, I need to at least know, an elementary level understanding of this, whatever it is, so that I can make better choices and decisions on my own. But then when I'm leading others, for me, it's the difference between authoritative and authoritarian leadership. Authoritative is that I have some knowledge about something, and so I'm going to come alongside you. I'm not going to just, the authoritarian approach is I just tell you, this is what I want you to do, and do it. Where authoritative is like, in a way that I would lead is like, hey, I'm going to come alongside you and I'm going to help you make sure you know how to do what I'm asking you or telling you to do. And so that you're going to have a higher level of success, in my opinion. I don't know if that answered your question, but.
No, that's good. Cool. So next question, you're a creator and you do that in a whole lot of different ways, but we all get stuck. So what are some things that get you stuck and how do you get unstuck?
Well, this is the dichotomy of that. There's times where I will try to do it all myself, and that'll cause me to get stuck. I hold on to things too long. Instead, I'm not good at, or I'm learning how to be better at delegating things to other people, bringing other people into the mix, and so that's where I'll tend to get stuck. And so I'll spend much too long on something, rather than going and finding someone that can do it as well or better than me, or maybe not as good, but they can get it done. And so,
I love it. There's like a humility underneath everything that you say when like every moment and every person can be a teacher, and you just take the approach of being a lifelong student. That's cool. 2020 taught us a lot of things, and there were a lot of areas where we could get stuck, but we're beyond that now. What are some goals you have for like this upcoming year? It could be
Wow,
personal or professional.
sure. Well, professionally, well, first of all, I've over the past year developed a life plan, and it's broken down, and it has like, okay, 10, 5, 1 year type goal, objectives or goals, whatever you want to call it, that stay aligned to my whole life plan. And so, and I try to look at it multiple times a week, that whole thing. And so, as far as like the next year on a professional level, where I'm at right now with my coaching business is I'm building the foundation for it. So I want to have a strong foundation built to where I can scale it, because I have a very aggressive 10-year goal. So this 1-year goal is, hey, how do I build the foundation? So I'm not focused on so much immediate results. I'm focused on, am I doing the things to build that foundation? But then I have personal goals, like I said earlier, I have a 10-year-old son. And so how I handle this year, again, is aligned to, now, you might be looking at me going, he has a 10-year-old son. Yeah, I'm 50 years older than my son. And so when he's 20, I'll be 70, obviously. And so I want to spend time, intentional time with him in this year, so that when he's 15 and 20 years old, we've developed the relationship that I want to have then. But it really is going to be because of what I do now. And so, I have those kind of, so that's an example of a professional goal and personal goal. And I have other goals in those areas too. So
Yeah, no, that's so good.
Yeah, no, so I got a question for you here. So we talk about your strengths, and we even tapped into one of your weaknesses. Sometimes it can be hard to get others involved, to delegate. So what do you think when you look out at specifically your business goals? You're trying to build a foundation for the business. I think a lot of people starting out right now in their new ventures are thinking that, yeah, that's what I need to do. I need to build a strong foundation. But if they're wired like you and their default is to just do things themselves,
Right.
My question for you is, how are you going to get to where you want to go by bringing others along for the journey? What does that look like, especially as an entrepreneur? How are you going to address that on the weaker side of things?
Sure. So the business design that I've decided to build on is not so much having employees, but strategic relationships, whether they're contractors or partnerships. And so a good example of that is I'm a content creator. I've written 2 books. I've blogged for 8 years. I've got, I don't know how many blog articles out there, a lot of content that I've created. And so I know how to create content. And so in my business, I needed earlier this year to create an email sequence, right? So a sequence of about 8 emails. I know how to do that. But instead of me doing it, I'm like thinking through that lens. How am I going to scale my business? I want to develop relationships with content creators. I want to develop relationships with web designers and other coaches and so on. Podcast people, stuff like that. So, like I said earlier, I have 50-something podcast episodes out there. Well, I did it all. I did everything. I did all the editing, everything on all 54 episodes. Well, I don't need to do that anymore if I'm going to scale my business. I don't need to create all my content. So what I did is I hired a story brand guide to write my email sequence. And so, because I wanted to, one, scale on a small level now, but also develop that relationship with someone that's like, okay, do I like the way she wrote? Did she, do good work? She did. It's fantastic. And so now I've got that relationship. So it's, but it's the intentionality of thinking, okay, what kind of structure am I going to scale my business on? And then I reverse engineer it. okay, what kind of things do I need to do?
Mm-hmm.
And so it boils down to how do I spend my time each day,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I'm like am I going to write this content, or am I going to have someone else write this content?
Yeah. I don't care what you're doing right now, personal, professional, even spiritual goals. I think there's a tendency for us to create something that we can control and do ourselves,
Right.
but we don't realize how limiting that is. So I would challenge you, those listening and watching to this episode, to think through the lens of what is it that I'm trying to pursue, and how can I bring others on into this journey with me, right, to go further, faster.
So there's another thing about that, and it's in the context of what you teach, and that is that we are all uniquely designed, and we have certain giftings, and I think what we don't recognize are the things that seem to come so natural to us. The tendency is to think, well, everybody can do that, because it's so easy for us to do it, or to whatever it is, and so, but that's what we need to spend our time on. And so the things that we're okay or average, and I've heard you teach this too, we can do it, but it's not really in our sweet spot. Those are the things that we ought to delegate to someone else, right? And then that's where you can scale your time, your business, your ministry, whatever it is. And then me, focus on the things that's what I'm uniquely designed to do.
Yeah.
God created me to do that right there,
Yeah.
like no one else can. So if I'm over here doing this over here because I don't want to let go of it, well, there's only so many hours in a day, right?
Yep.
Yeah, man, that's so good. In season 1, we had 3 columns exercise. So if you're hearing Kenny right now and you're like, okay, I'm not sure what those things might be that I need to delegate or let go of, I think the 3 columns exercise is something you want to revisit on our site and practice. But man, when I see big picture here, I think we're hearing Kenny pursuing leveraging already a lot of where he's wired to thrive, right? He's one, the whole life plan, I think, thing is creating a vision for yourself first, right?
Right.
And learning to, and now, I mean, you're a pro doing that for others. You've been helping us do that. We've had tremendous benefit from it, from our organization, just everything from how we communicate to what even the products and services that we want to sell and in what order. That begins with having clarity on where you want to go, and then reverse engineering in a way. And that's such a core strength of yours. You live it, you breathe it, you do it, and you teach it. I love that. And you already alluded to this before, but one of the great parts about how you're wired is that when you hit adversity, I think that default nature of your learner kicks in, and it's kind of like, all right, how do I not hit this wall again? How can I learn to move around it? And again, it makes you a great guide. You even said so much. You're leading others is empowered by the way that you listen, you create solutions, and you bring ideas together for people. You guide them through it. You're learning. You're like, I've never heard of that before, but you're willing to take on the investigation and bring forth a solution to others. I see all parts of these themes firing. Obviously, there's a lot of things you could have done with great success and have done in your career with great success, but being a business coach is definitely one that you are absolutely wired for. So it's pretty amazing.
Cool.
I want people to be able to connect with you because they need your services in a lot of different ways. And I heard you kind of mention in the beginning of this episode who you work with. Do you work with solo entrepreneurs? Is it mainly groups, or because what if there's someone listening who's like, well, I don't have employees yet, but I am running my own ship.
Sure.
And I do want to scale. I do want to get employees, or I do want to expand this idea.
You bet. No, I appreciate you asking that, because I think I said 2 to 50 employees, but yeah,
Right.
solopreneurs. In fact, I'm starting a coaching deal this week with a guy that's just him. But it's that niche. I'm not drawn to the C-suite, large corporations, executive coaching. I could do that, but I think they have a lot of resources at their fingertips, where the small business owner, the solopreneur, whatever, the nonprofit executives don't have that kind of resources at their fingertips, not as readily. So that's who I like to work with.
Yeah. Well, listen, if you need a patient, brilliant guide who's going to move you forward personally, professionally here, then you want to connect with Kenny. So the website people need to go to is kennethacamp.com.
Yep.
kennethacamp.com, and they're going to find two options on the site. One is your business assessment, right?
Sure. If you just want to if you're just curious, you want to kind of like see where are the weaknesses, the areas that I need to work on, the things that you probably don't know that you don't know, then this is a great 20-minute assessment. Just all the different facets that are important in order for a business or organization to thrive.
And I'm also a subscriber to your emails, and there's a ton of value coming from those. I love it because it's not long. It doesn't take long to read, and it's kind of doesn't clutter my inbox. But I can pull brilliant nuggets quickly out of what you send out. So that's the other side of it, right?
Sure. If you sign up as an email subscriber, you're going to have access to. I'll give you a 1-hour free consultation on one of two things. If you have a website, and we'll just review your homepage and see if it's doing what it ought to do. That's one. Or if you have a mission statement, we'll sit down and we'll just review your mission statement. Same kind of thing. Is it doing what it should be doing for your organization? If you have
that's to me, that's a no-brainer. Everybody listening should be going to kennethacamp.com and signing up for that, because even if you think, I got my website and mission statement down, yeah, you might think it's down. I thought I had mine down, but you need that feedback from other people, to have you review it and check it and look at it. I mean, that's a brilliant free opportunity that I take advantage. Do you by any chance trim beards or give advice for people with beards or that like to wear bad hats? Because that I have a friend I know that's not here tonight that could use those services.
No, actually, my brother has the ZZ Top or Duck Dynasty beard. So
There we go. I'm working on that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Give me 10 years. It's in my 10-year plan. So how do they connect to us?
Oh, yeah, you can connect us too if you want.
That's right. Yeah.
No, purposepro.org. Sign up for a workshop if you want to experience personally what you're seeing us do for others here, understand your themes, your core strengths, and how they impact what you really want to do. Purposepro.org. You can also just get started right away, right now, on our online course at purposecourse.org. Either way, we're here to help. This is it. Hey guys, if you have ideas and thoughts on other people you'd love to hear from out there, hit us up. Make some comments if you're watching on YouTube. What other value can we bring you, as listeners, as subscribers? And you better be subscribing. Hit that subscribe button, by the way. What can we do? What would you like to hear from us in future episodes? We really do use those to shape out what we do. So, any party wisdom, Zach?
I have nothing.
All right.
That was good. Y'all dropped all the wisdom bombs.
I love it.
So
Okay. Well, thanks, Kenny,
Thank
so
you
much,
guys,
man.
yeah.
Really appreciate you
Likewise.
being here.
Yep.
So, all right, guys. Until next time.